Hello, I am coming to you today from my van, Jennifer Vaniston, and I've completed, a little bit over 2 weeks being in the van now. In this video, I'm going to share some of the highs and some of the lows and just tell you a little bit more about how van life has been these first couple of weeks. Thank you for subscribing if you've done that already. If you haven't, please do. I sincerely appreciate it. So I'm up over 1,000 subscribers right now, which is a pretty good milestone for YouTube. One of the highlights of my week and the last video that I did has been reading your comments. So you guys are hilarious. So I'm just going to go through and share a couple of the comments that y'all have sent me. Terry says, I'm rolling when you showed us the spatula. You know those videos with all the fancy B-roll and people jumping off waterfalls, doing yoga on high cliffs and twirling on their vans? Boring. He says, but I really enjoyed this. And then Bernie says, I believe the Food Network is trying to locate you. Yeah, maybe Misty and I could do our own cooking show. Marcella says, I think your travel companions are just perfect. I may have to go with Kevin Costner instead of Brad Pitt, but if he happened to be in my RV, I'd let him stay. Adriana says, I love this video. Nothing better than laughing at yourself when you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, that's true. Bugs Bunny says, I will not criticize your campground cooking abilities, nor will I poke fun at the way you've packed your camper van. So I'm laughing with you, not at you. I think he's trying to tell me something here. Janice says, I'm thinking about unsubbing to all other van lifers and sticking with you, LOL. You might want to wait on that one a minute, Janice. Joe Black says, reminds me of why I take granola bars and donuts for breakfast. Just the word discombobulated gave me a good laugh. Victor K. Victor says, a Bev video, just what the doctor ordered. And then he private messaged me on Instagram and said, by the way, your headlights are always on. Well, Victor, I went back and looked at a couple of the videos and the headlights on the van were not on. What are you even talking about? Cheryl says, I want to go camping with you. What a riot we would have. I do the same shit. Can you imagine that pairing? Carmen said, breakfast was a disaster. Get some sleep. Even the birds aren't up at 4 a.m. Karzanian says, it's okay. The average person eats 10 pounds of dirt in their lifetime. I'm having a feeling I may be a little above average on this one. Larry Howard says, I see you have fully embraced the 5-second rule. He may have a point on that. Linda Hand says, just keep swimming, as Dory would say, and I can't wait for your next cooking video. I think I should have been offended by this next one. Brandon Blake says, I'm not laughing with you, I'm laughing at you. Thank you. Jeepers Delight says, oh my God, I was totally cracking up. I think I dribbled jalapeno juice in the van. Just a couple more. So Yvonne, my best friend, I love you. So she might be a little bit partial, but Yvonne says, you made me cry laugh, LMAO. Bradley Smith says, I'd keep a close eye on Brad. I don't know how trustworthy he is. He's liable to end up over at another camp in someone else's van. And the last one, Mac Man, had a very simple comment, MILK. What is he talking about? Anyway, so that's some of the fun comments that I've got this week that I just wanted to share with you guys. And it was such a fun highlight part of the week. I left Missouri on November 29th, and the reason for leaving that day was because November 30th is my best friend Yvonne's birthday. And she asked me to spend her birthday with her. So I did that. We had our campers in her backyard. She has this little area she calls Tiny Town, and we camped in her backyard for her birthday. So she hung out, you know, in my van, Jennifer. And I bought this canister laser light set. So we just like hung out in here and did girl talk. And I had the laser lights going to the music, and we absolutely had a blast. From Yvonne's house, I did what I call mooch camping, and my friend Diane's. I got to meet her husband and see her new house, and she treated me to a wonderful grilled shrimp dinner and some hot tub time. From there, I went to Fredericksburg, Texas, and enjoyed the hospitality of my friends Kelly and Lila, who took me to Luckenbach, Texas. I'd never been there. It's population 3. We had a really good time just being outside. I got to hear some live music for the first time in a really long time, and everyone was social distancing. So it was just good to have a minute to feel normal again and hear some live music. The next stop was Dripping Springs, Texas, where my friend Jim, who actually traveled with me for a few days of this journey, Jim has a beautiful place in Live Oak Canyon. We got to do a bit of hiking down there, and Jim took me to a couple of his favorite places in the area. The next stop was Garner State Park, which I knew about Garner State Park. My daughter had been camping there with some friends when she was a teenager, so it was cool to get to see that. After a week of meandering and, you know, staying at some different friends' houses along the way, actually in their driveways, they always invite me in, but I find that I prefer staying in my van. It really is starting to feel like home now. And it's pretty self-contained. Like, I'm learning my way around the van and where everything's at, and placing things where I need them to be and getting rid of things that I don't need. On day 7 of traveling, we ended up at Big Bend National Park and did a couple of pretty good hikes. One to a place called The Window, and then one where I got to see the Rio Grande. So seeing the window and doing that hike just like moved me with emotion. My soul was craving just being outside and being in nature and seeing something beautiful. And there were a couple of times in this hike that I just felt so happy and so blessed and so thankful to be out adventuring again. After Big Bend, we exited the park and went to Terralingua, where we parked the van in an area where I woke up the next day and there were teepees in the background. I love just lowering the blinds on the van and looking out the window, and it's been something new every day. After I left Terralingua, I ended up going to Guadalupe National Park and just rolled in right at sunset, found a beautiful camping spot. But that was probably my coldest night. I didn't have shore power, so I was completely depending on the Jackery. And the Jackery did okay at first with my little 400-watt electric heater, but it ran the juice out pretty fast. So I was very thankful that I had these furry covers. It was a very cold night that night. But I got up the next day and I got to do some hiking, and it just makes it all feel worthwhile. And oh my God, it's so good to be out adventuring again. Now, that said, I'm craving a little bit of stillness. So where I'm currently at, I'm going to stay probably 2 or 3 nights and just slow down a little bit and get some things organized and not be on the move for just a minute. So I'm starting to settle into the van. It's starting to feel a little bit more organized. I love how everything is just, you know, right here within reach. I've gotten rid of a few things already. I've realized that I need a few things done differently, but that just takes time. It takes some tweaking. Twinking? Not twinking. It takes some tweaking. Ay, ay, ay. thanks for being here. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching this. You keep watching, I'll keep posting content. And I'll twink the van.